Welcome back, everyone, to the Complete Pineleaf, where today we are looking to free some prisoners, and we're also looking to burn the remains of some people who have passed away but have their remains desecrated rather than disposed of in a dignified manner. And I'm supposed to burn some banners, all that usual stuff. And I'm supposed to be finding a shade somewhere to speak with and find out what else I need to do, which unfortunately, even though I saw the shade right when I got that quest, I was distracted by something else, wasn't able to talk to him, and I have not seen that shade around since. And whenever you go to any place in this area, you immediately get attacked by these archers. Like there's one up there. I was having a lot of trouble. They try to lure me so that I'm within killing range of those towers, I think. Because the archers on the tower are even worse than the ones that are down here. Because they're always difficult to reach. Now, where is that shade? And is there any way I could find them without running into 10 orcs all at once? Something I didn't notice before. An ancient weapon. Relics of the last... Oh, this is a new deed. Found a relic of the last alliance. Okay, fine. I was thinking it was a quest starter or something like that, or some important clue, but no! It was a new deed. Let's find a few more of these things. For now, though, what I want to find is that shade. Ah! The shade! Let's see if I could get down here before it gets in range of all those folk. Hello? 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 You approach the shade and attempt to speak with him, but it does not respond. His gaze remains fixed directly ahead of him, and he almost seems unaware of your presence. Amidst the sounds of the nearby orcs, the shade begins to shriek in harsh tones. Father! I'm sorry! Forgive me! I beg you! Brother! Artemir! Do not stay silent! Okay. Oh, come on! I am trying to get a quest here! Do you mind? Okay, now, what were you saying? Yes, his words are still fresh in your memory. The shade floats silently before you. The shade wailed the name of Artemir and spoke as if Artemir were his brother. Without pausing to consider the absurdity of what you're about to speak, you tell the shade that a man named Artemir is among the company in the ruins to the south. A puzzled expression washes over the shade's face, and his gaze swiftly shifts to meet your own. However, before speaking a word, he vanishes. Ah, he's still there. He didn't vanish very well. Maybe he did some sort of... Oh, the last prisoner is up there. I can deal with that, I hope. Right, so what do I need? Oh, I still need to... this is number 9 of the dignity ones. And here's the last prisoner. I see light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe I'll soon be able to get away from this. Oh, and I see the last bit of remains there. Now, there's still a couple of flags I haven't found yet. So we do have that to consider. But there were flags at the entrance that I missed. That's going to be my guess. Alright, so we freed the prisoners. Ah, here we are. Took some remains and burnt them. There you go. It was a sorry fate to those who befell the slain at Arnaher's folly, but no longer can the orcs of Mordor defile and mock them in death. There you go. And now I just need to find those banners. And here is our last banner. And that means I can get out of this dreadful, awful place. Mayhem. Just imagine the most terrible and awful place you have ever been. This place is worse. Ah, let us hope we have freed the last of those held in the waste Pineleaf. I mourn for those that were too late to save, but I hold hope that the Dark Lord shall soon suffer the fate he deserves for these atrocities. I don't doubt that the enemy still keeps many slaves beyond the Black Gate, but we must look to the battle ahead before we can aid them. Thank you, my friend. All right, you're welcome. All right, he's done. Now, let us speak with the one who sent me to kill all those orcs. You've done well, friend. With this accomplished, the orcs of Onder's Folly could no longer pose a threat to the host of the West or to any that still remain in their thrall. Let us hope it was enough. I hope so. And it's time for us to speak to Artemir about what that shade said. You say a spirit of the name of some kind knew my name, Pineleaf? That he called out for an Artemir? I have had quite enough dealings with spirits for my liking. I'll let you know that. But there must be some mistake. You see, it is common in Gondor to honor our ancestors by bestowing their names upon our children. And even within Minas Tirith, I know no fewer than 2 others bearing my name. If I am recalling correctly, I even once told you of an old King Ortahir's son was named Artemir? Oh, no. This man cannot be me, friend. How long has this spirit lingered in the waste? How many have fallen since he met his own end? Don't move, Pineleaf. What? Don't move? Oh, hello. Well, the shade returns. The shade stares at you, but remains silent. After a moment, he turns to Artemir and begins to speak. Oh, I'm not worth speaking to, but Artemir is. Beware the shadows on Dol Arkarn. The Wainriders come again to claim their vengeance on Gondor. All right. Wainriders? They have not been a threat to Gondor, much less seen at all, for hundreds of years now. Perhaps the spirit has mistaken the Easterlings for their old ancestors, else I cannot say. To have silently watched for so long, it is possible he has lost his understanding of the passing peoples and creatures of these lands. Fate and chances drove me to the dead marshes, but now they have guided me thus. I shall resist them no longer. I may not be the man the spirit seeks, but his knowledge of these lands and our enemies may have turned to our benefit. I believe I know the spirit's identity, my friend, but more questions still linger, and answers seem unlikely unless he and I speak alone. that you two speak alone. Yes. As I said, I have many suspicions about the identity of the spirit, but those shall remain mine until I learn more of the spirit's purpose. If you and the rangers would grant me leave, I shall follow where he leads, and learn what I can of him and his fate in the wastes. Think what he may have seen. Such experiences are beyond the life of any mortal man. Talk to Meeham and see what he makes of this. I have heard tell that no stranger to spirits of the dead. Yet he's encountered a few in Fornost. If he grants my request, I would ask that you, and you alone, follow us to the north after a short time. I shall speak well of you to him, and perhaps he shall be more willing to speak to you directly. That is my hope, Pineleaf, for safety seems so far away now, and I would much like to return to it. All right. Well, let's see what Meeham has to say. And that is over here. Hello, you're not going to believe this latest development. A spirit in the ruins. I fear this shall not portend any good at all, and I would caution Artemir to put safety of the host before his own misguided studies. It may be true that the spirits of the dead that followed Aragorn were honorable enough when they fulfilled their oath, but do not forget those we lost when they felt no such duty. If one has been cursed by the breaking of an oath, you should not assume them a friend. Yes, we of the Great Company have learned this lesson all too painfully. I shall not stop him, but I hope he considers the great risk that he would impose on all of our company. All right, well, we'll have to keep that in mind. Well, it looks like they have already set out. Well then, if they snug out right away, then I can only hope that I am following at a discreet enough time afterwards. I see a shade up ahead, so I will presume that this is where I need to go. Right back to Onahar's Folly. Oh, fun. You found Artemir and the accursed warrior outside of Ondahar's Folly. Hi there. I had to follow where he led, Pineleaf. Steward Denethor would have commanded it if he still lived, and I cannot abandon his task now. I sensed that the rangers would not wish me to go, so I sent you to hold their attention as I departed. I apologize for the deception, but you must understand the significance of the man we have encountered this day. As I suspected, he is none other than Faramir, son of Ondahar. How capricious of fate shall I should find a Faramir here amid the waste, when I so recently bid a farewell to Steward Denethor's son in the Houses of Healing. Faramir, son of Ondahar, met a grim end here in the waste. Well, I would have thought so if he's going around wandering as a shade. But perhaps more tragic, he was never meant to journey to these lands at all. King Ondahar and Faramir's brother Artemir rode to repel the forces of the Wainriders of the Waste, but they were caught unprepared and vastly outnumbered. They were soon aided by a company of Northmen, but even still, their forces were slain on the fields and driven into the dead marshes. Amid all of this, Faramir was bidden to remain in Minas Anor when Minas Tirith was still called as such, but He defied his father's wishes and secretly rode to join the Northmen as they rode southward towards the battle. Thus Ondahir and his 2 sons met their ends in the wastes. As with so much of Gondor's history, there is much more to be said on these events, but I would prefer to tell it when we return to Minas Tirith. The air here has left my throat quite dry indeed. In the meantime, Faramir has told me much of what has been seen this day, and I must admit, it gives me great concerns of the host of the West. I took some great efforts on my part, but I have convinced Faramir to trust you with his burdens. You should speak with him and learn how we might aid both him and the host. Well, learn of Faramir, son of Ondahir's burdens. Oh boy. Are there many burdens? Well, there are 3 actually. What are the troubles? In all the years I have wandered through these lands, I have never learned of the true fate of my brother. When I awoke from what I learned to be my death, I saw a great force of Wainriders moving westward and then southward, but I could not follow them from these lands. Did my brother stand against them? Did he fall as I did? Search the lowlands to the west of this hill. If my brother fled the battlefield alive, he would have taken such a path. If not, perhaps he too has been cursed. Please do this for me, Pineleaf, and tell me if you discover any sign of him. I must learn the truth of his fate. So search for signs of Artemir in the southern dead marshes. 4 signs. Oh, we got more? Yes, I must admit, my friend, that I am still vexed by Faramir's insistence on the threat of Wainriders upon the battle plain. The Wainriders have not been a threat to the people of Gondor in over 1,000 years, and yet Faramir speaks as if they were a foe to which we shall soon encounter. The might of the Easterling clans has diminished much since their earlier, more unified days, and it seems unlikely to me that they have suddenly reforged a kinship that broke over many long years. He has asked to speak with you, and I do not doubt his words shall again concern the Wainriders. See what you can make of his claims, Pineleaf. The Wainriders are dead and gone, but so too was Faramir, son of Ondahir. Oh, what now? If you are to survive long in these lands, Warden, you must first learn the history of the Wainriders, as I and my father once did. The hatred between Gondor and the Wainriders is a tale of fathers and sons. Our lands were stolen and reclaimed through the passing of the years, but the Wainriders shaped the line of kings in a way that no other foe could equal. After losing his son and father to their hordes, King Calmetar, father of my father, rode against the Wainriders in vengeance. With the help of the Northmen, he devastated their ranks, broke their wains and chariots, and slew them upon the hills to the east, a hill which has become known as Dol Acharn. Such a victory brought peace to Gondor for many years, and Calmehar never again had to contend with the Wainriders before his death. Peace, such as it is always short-lived. Calmethar's son and my father, King Ondahir, were forced to meet them in battle. Alas, you are aware of the loss of Gondor suffered as a result. Artemir here has told me much of the days that followed the king's death, as well as my own. He tells me that the Wainwriters made camp to the southwest, but were ambushed and slain to the last by a vast army under the command of a man named Eärnil. He claims that Eärnil soon became king of Gondor, even to face the claims against my sister's husband, King Arvedui of Arthedain. What tales he has told me of those long years. Ah, but now the past has risen to confront the present. Fate is a curious thing, Pineleaf. Is it not? Well, you see, the Wainwriters have been stirred from their long rest, and I believe your host has riled the evils that lingered upon the plain. Even now they ride from the east, and their might is no less swift or terrible than it was in past days. You speak the impossible. Such things cannot be. They cannot, and yet they are, Artemir. These are times unlike any I have known. This cannot be. If the Wainwriters again roam the battle plain, they may meet the host of the West in the field. Their hatreds will not have dulled with time, and they shall strike at those who bear the king's banner with a vengeance renewed. We must bring word to Harendir, and soon. Yes, we must bring word to Harendir soon, but not yet, because first we need to search the marshes, and we have another quest we'll need to do for Faramir here, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode of The Complete Pineleaf.